At the time of Frederick the Great, around 1750, there were still fields and barns here. Friedrich commissioned the then city commandant Hans Christoph Graf von Hack with the construction of a market square, today's Hackescher Markt. The courtyards opposite the Hackescher Markt were built by the Berlin architect August Endel and opened in September 1906. Art Nouveau was the predominant taste of the Berlin public at the time. First and foremost, the audience should be lured into the 8 courtyards with their cinemas, ballrooms and commercial shops. The architect Endel was not only responsible for the design of the facades and their ornamentation, which have been completely restored today, after more than 100 years, but also for parts of the interior design. We look at the originally restored staircase to the cinema, and across the street we see today's watch shop, which used to be a small ballroom. Today it has the beautiful ornamentation on the ceilings and walls again. Below the vaudeville there is now a restaurant and cafe that was now set up in the style of the 50s. After the war, the courtyards were partially destroyed, but above all they had been neglected for decades during the GDR era. Only after reunification in 1990 did investors begin to renovate the listed complex, which was completed in 1997. Behind the art pavilion, in which today's porcelain is exhibited, is one of the oldest Jewish cemeteries in Berlin from 1672. The important philosopher and enlightener Moses Mendelssohn was also buried here. Until 2006, the Hackescher Courtyard Theater resided in these rooms in Hof 3, where Jewish theater and Jewish music were cultivated. Today fine scarves, ties and bow ties are made in the basement and sold on the ground floor.
Ja, jetzt ist schlimm.
But not only the exterior of the facades and courtyard has experienced a renaissance, but also the original concept of use of the courtyards. During renovation work in the 1990s, historical files from the 1920s with the original usage concept were discovered by chance. The aim at that time was to unite gastronomic businesses and theaters businesses and tenants living in the courtyards in a harmonious coexistence. The renovation of the building fabric in the 90s then had the aim of promoting urban life. This renovation devoured 60 million Deutschmarks.
Nein, Mäuse. Da oben.
Ja, aber das sind bunte.
Ja, das sind aber der gleiche Geschmack wie die weißen.
Das ist der gleiche Geschmack.
Auf jeden Fall, ja.
Okay.
Today there are 100 apartments and 17,000 square meters of usable space for business and culture enthusiasts. The many smaller, original shops are mostly owner-managed and produce their own goods, and it is not uncommon for us to find unique items here, such as the hat maker or the corsetry in one of the nearest courtyards. We can't really imagine it, but a 100 square meter apartment with toilet, parquet flooring and central heating was available in the east of the city for only 80 marks East rent per month during the times of real socialism. Before the renovation in the 1990s, there were no shops here. Many rooms on the ground floor were used as storage space. There was even a Trabi workshop here. $1.6 million people visit the Hackescher Markt every year, and we are two of them.
Können Sie Ihren Kaffee gleich unten holen?
And so that people have their peace in the backyards in the evening, the gates in the passages to the front courtyards, where cultural life still takes place, are closed at 10 p.m. We are now back on Rosenthaler Strasse, where there are two more courtyards. This one with a memorial plaque in the entrance is interesting. Haus Schwarzenberg is an unusual place where street art can develop freely. Here, in this formerly Jewish-dominated area, was the Otto White workshop for the blind during the Second World War, which mainly employed blind and deaf Jews with the manufacture of brooms and brushes. He protected many Jewish workers from persecution and deportation.
Allein die Anzahl der Briefkästen hier.
In the backyard of the building complex there is the Schlorak, a bar with concerts in the evening, the Kino Central, which becomes an open-air cinema in summer, or the Monster Cabinet. After all, we should also eat something. It's not that easy to find a Curry sausage stall in Berlin these days. But there is one around the corner from Rosenthaler Strasse on Oranienburger Strasse. The currywurst is good, but the curry 61 fries are a poem.
Und? Tatsächlich, Macarons.
And then we succumb to a heavenly temptation in Café Nosh Nosh. Here in this Italian cafe, it's all about nuts of all kinds, but especially about sinfully expensive, but also sinfully delicious pralines with nuts.
Pistazie?
Ja.
Und eine Pistazie.